Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you like college football as much as I do. Today I'm going to talk about our little brother, the Miami Hurricanes football team. Now, Mario Cristobal went 5-7 with Miami last year. However, I do think Miami's going to be a heck of a lot better. They always have a lot of talent over there, especially with the players Cristobal just recruited and how he's able to utilize his players. He's always able to win pretty well. He won a lot of games at Oregon, so for that reason, and given the fact that he just had a lot of his players from Miami leave the program, that might be good for him because he wants to run things his way. He has his own philosophy, and he does everything his own way as a coach. So I think that's good for them. So let's go ahead and talk about this football schedule. I think these guys, they start off with Miami of Ohio. I think they win that game no problem. And then they have to host Texas A&M. I know Texas A&M is an SEC team. They're a pretty physical team. They usually have a really good defense. I think their offense will be a lot better with Bobby Petrino. However, since this game is at home, I think Miami wins this game at home. Do I think Miami's a better team this year? No. But they're a good football team this year. I think they'll be pretty good. This game will get them a lot of respect. I think Texas A&M, if not top 15, top 20 at the very least. They should be ranked somewhere because of the talent. But I think they win this game at home. And they also host and then they play Bethune-Cookman, and then they go to Temple in week 5. They should win both of those games pretty handedly. And then they host Georgia Tech. I think they beat Georgia Tech also. They start 6-0 because Georgia Tech's at home. And then they have to go to North Carolina. North Carolina has been a team that hasn't been terrible. Their offense is pretty good. But their defense is not good at all. However, Miami has not beaten North Carolina since 2018. So, with that being said, I still think that they don't win this game. This game's at North Carolina. So they won't have the home field advantage. And you got to remember, North Carolina is a talented team. They're loaded with talent, especially with Coach Brown there. He's been there since 2019. He's been recruiting really good. He's always got good players. It's just up to him to put that defense together. And North Carolina has a good defense. I think you can see them in the ACC championship this year. It's possible. You know what I mean? Or at worst, third or fourth in the ACC. So I do think this does have a lot of this. There are possible ACC championship game implications in this game, but I have North Carolina winning. I think they will put up more points at home than Miami will be able to do. Now you're 6-1, and then you got to host Clemson. I think Clemson is better, but this game is at Miami. I think they beat Clemson at home. I really do. And again, here's the thing. Last year was an embarrassing loss for Miami. It was in Death Valley. Clemson has only lost once since 2016. That was to their rival, South Carolina. And they're a program that's heading in the right direction. And Clemson, they didn't have a bad year last year, but they didn't make it to the playoffs. So it's not really great either if you're Dabo Swinney, who's been making the playoffs for a long time. I think they upset Clemson at home. These Texas A&M and Clemson games could be games that they both lose. But I do think they're good enough to beat both at home. Given the fact that they're at home, they have a lot of talent there. I do think Cristobal is the right guy for Miami. I'm a Seminole fan, so I'm not being funny in this video. I think they upset both of those teams. They're also both vulnerable teams. Talented but vulnerable. A&M, it would be offensively. For Clemson, it'd be defense. That pass defense was atrocious last year, so you got to clean that up. Virginia, I think they win that no problem. This is where they start losing some games. I don't think NC State's better than Miami. They certainly are not the more talented than Miami. But NC State is low-key a hard place to play. And even though Miami does play is a better team, I believe, than NC State, and NC State lost players, including Devin Leary to Kentucky, I think NC State gets this big win at home against Miami. I think they drop that one. I think NC State manages to win this game somehow. And then they go to Florida State. I don't think this will be a blowout game. I know Florida State's supposed to be in the top 10. Miami's supposed to be rebuilding their team and all that. But you got to remember, Miami always has talent in that roster, regardless. So the fact that it's at FSU, I think Florida State wins this game by like 6 points or less. Those games are always super competitive, usually. So I do think this game will say a lot about Miami. Of course, it's going to be a game Miami wants to win, and they could win. I mean, it's Florida State. They usually beat FSU looking at their series. But I think Florida State is the better team. I think they win at home, and then they close out their season with a big win at home against Louisville. They go to Boston College. I think they should win that game too. That puts Miami at 9-3. Best case, maybe 10-2 with an upset over in or no. I don't think they beat Florida State, but they have a chance to do it because of the talent that they have. They've always got players there, and it's a big hate game. And lately, Miami has been beating Florida State more. So, I mean, at worst case, 8-4 maybe they could lose. They lose to Clemson probably, 8-4 at worst, 10-2 at best. But I think I'm being actually really nice here, saying 9-3 because Texas A&M, Clemson, and Florida, and even. Who else do I have them beating? Clemson and Texas A&M are teams that are more talented than Miami. You know what I mean? But, I do think Miami's going to be in the right direction this year. I don't care what the experts are saying. I like to go against the experts, and sometimes I'm wrong on my channel, but there are times when I'm right. So, there you have it. As a Seminole fan, I'm admitting I think Miami's going to be 9-3, and that'll be Florida State's toughest home game of the year.